you all for coming. We're here regarding Dan Debicella's outrageously insensitive comments about rape victims yesterday. Please welcome our honored and esteemed guests from both the legislature and organizations dedicated to the health and well-being of women around the state. Please welcome Assistant Majority Whip Patricia Widlett.
Well, I am very honored to be here this afternoon with an outstanding candidate for the State Senate, Janice Anderson. We need Janice to be in the State Senate because we need people who understand and appreciate the needs of women. Dan Debicella just doesn't get it. When someone has a need for emergency contraception because they have been assaulted, that is one of the most traumatic things any woman could deal with. For Dan Debicella to think it's not important enough for her to get instant care is an outrage. So we are sending a message to Janice's constituents. We need Janice in the State Senate to support women. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please welcome State Representative from Guilford and Madison in the 101st Assembly District, Debra Heine.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Though I appreciate everyone being here today, it is unfortunate that we have to gather under such unpleasant business. As most of you know, in 2007, the state of Connecticut passed legislation requiring all hospital emergency rooms in Connecticut to offer the highest standard of care to rape victims. According to the American Medical Association and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and many other medical and emergency organizations, the highest standard of medical care for rape victims is to offer emergency contraceptions so that they may choose not to become pregnant with their rapist's child. As many of you know, I shared my personal story of being raped in college to help my colleagues understand the importance of offering this compassionate care to rape victims, and how this care and the care victims receive will ultimately affect their recovery and healing process. I shared one of the most traumatic and intimate experiences of my life to help people understand that it is incredibly difficult for a woman who has just been raped to pull herself together and trust other human beings enough to enter a hospital and to ask for help. For a hospital to then tell her that she has to go somewhere else is just short of criminal. Most of my colleagues agreed. Most of my colleagues understood, but apparently not Mr. Debicella. Mr. Debicella voted to deny rape victims emergency contraception. It is plain and simple. There is no way to misunderstand this vote. When the bill came up to require all Connecticut hospitals to give rape victims the highest standard of care, he voted no. In last night's debate, he added insult to injury by being shocked and surprised that his opponent, Janice Anderson, should make such a big deal about his vote. What's the big deal? He said, on the rape bill, all I did was vote against a bill allowing morning after contraception to be issued to victims. Well, Mr. Debicella, on behalf of rape victims across the state, let me tell you what a big deal this is. Imagine for yourself, Mr. Debicella, that someone violates your body until you are bruised, battered, and bloody. Imagine that they violate you in a way that feels like they have stolen your very soul from you. Imagine that you feel you can't even speak, you can't bear to have anyone look at you or touch you, and you're paralyzed. Then imagine, Mr. Debicella, that you reach deep inside yourself and find one little spark of light left. That you reach for that little spark of light and somehow find enough strength in you, enough faith in others, to make your way to a hospital. Imagine the fear, Mr. Debicella, the fear in the pit of your stomach that you might get pregnant from this abuse. Then imagine that you ask for help so you can avoid this further violation. Then imagine that you're told to go away, go somewhere else. This is why it's a big deal, Mr. Debicella. This is why the bill was passed overwhelmingly by your and my colleagues and signed into law. It's about compassion, it's about medical care for rape victims, and it is a big deal.
I'd like to also introduce Jillian Gilchrist, who's the Executive Director of NARAL Pro-Choice.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jillian Gilchrist, and I'm the Executive Director of NARAL Pro-Choice Connecticut, and I am here today to express my disappointment in State Senator Dan Debicella and his flippant attitude toward Connecticut's victims of sexual assault. In 2007, Dan Debicella was one of 3 senators who voted against compassionate care for victims of sexual assault. At the time, he didn't participate in the Senate debate, never offering a reason for his decision to vote no. But last night, we finally got a glimpse into why Dan Debicella voted against what was an extremely important prevention measure to protect Connecticut's victims of sexual assault from unwanted pregnancy by their assailant. In defense of what Dan Debicella called negative campaign attacks, he said that his opponent, Janice Anderson, has been lying and twisting the meaning of his votes. Janice Anderson has stated that Dan Debicella voted against ensuring emergency contraception to rape victims. The bill in question, Senate Bill 1343, otherwise known as Compassionate Care for Victims of Sexual Assault, established standard of care requirements for licensed healthcare facilities that provide emergency treatment to female sexual assault victims. The bill said that each facility must promptly provide a victim of sexual assault with medically and factually accurate and objective information about emergency contraception, inform her of emergency contraception's availability, use, and efficacy, and provide her emergency contraception at the facility at her request unless she is determined pregnant. In his attempt to clarify what he viewed as negative attacks against him, Debicella said that he voted against a bill to allow morning after contraception to be issued to victims. Exactly. Senator Debicella voted against Senate Bill 1343, a truthful statement about his voting record, not a negative attack or a twisting of the meaning of his vote. What I find extremely negative and insulting is the way that Debicella defended his record on 1343 last night, insinuating that providing sexual assault victims with the option of taking emergency contraception is not a big deal and not a valid issue to be brought up in this campaign. It is a big deal. In fact, it's a huge deal that was debated for 2 sessions and resulted in a compromise that protects the integrity of Connecticut's religiously affiliated hospitals. If a woman gets sexually assaulted in the state of Connecticut, she should have the choice between taking emergency contraception, an FDA-approved drug, and medical standard of care, or not taking emergency contraception. And thankfully, after a lot of hard work and compromise, the women of Connecticut do have that choice. Sexual assault is a crime in which a woman's power and control over her own body is stripped away from her. We owe women the dignity of choice and the compassion of providing her with the best medical care possible. As a state, we enact certain policies that reflect our state's social conscience. I want elected officials who believe that rape is a crime and that women who get raped should be offered and then provided emergency contraception in the ER. Thank you for your time today.
And I'd also like to welcome Barbara Wojtek from the Center for Women and Families in Bridgeport.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Wojtek. I'm the Clinical Director for the Center for Women and Families in Bridgeport. We support domestic violence and sexual assault clients throughout the 6 towns, including the town of Stratford. We are here to support Janice Anderson as she is voting for all clients to have access to medical treatment available to them. As my predecessors have stated, this is a very important issue, and Mr. Debicella is wrong in coming out against this action. I am also a Stratford resident and support Janice Anderson with my personal vote. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate your time on such an important women's issue.